my mouth.
No, what am I saying?
What, this? It's nothing. Really, it's nothing, Ed. It's just, it's just Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Have a good time. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened.
Okay, you little bastards. The time has come. The moment we've all been waiting for. It's the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Olabruski. Let's go.
Hello, and welcome to the show, the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Olabruski. We thank you for being right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, an official thank you, and welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, we're back. Heat waves going around the country, but we're all alive and well. We'll see if that's the story 2 hours from now when we're done recording all these. But on planet Earth, and we're on the interweb too. TheVocalMinority.net is our own very personal website, and social media. That's where all the fun really is. So find us on all of them: the TikTok, the YouTube, the Facebooks, the Twitter X thing, Reddit, Threads, Instagram, and we post videos that you will like and you should share to help out the cause.
We don't have an account yet on Pornhub, though. We do not have one yet there.
Yeah, we're working on OnlyFans. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll get it together. Takes a little time. I'll make a point that my brother, I was talking to my brother on the phone last night. He was like, he was talking about a certain clip that we had on the socials that he had just watched. And he was like,
is this liberal or conservative, brother?
This is conservative, brother. Okay. He was commenting on the whole Biden thing and what do we do? Okay, that was the clip that you posted on social media, and he was talking about that. And he was like, we had conversations. You didn't mention any of them. And I was like, oh, you just saw a clip, though. I was like, you got to go listen to the podcast. He was like, well, where do I do that? I'm old. I mean, it's not all just the clips. I was like, no, dude, we do a long form podcast. You got to go listen. So.
We do a 60-second show every week.
Yeah. So I got to, you make sure you know, you like the clips. Well, thanks for finding us here. This is the entire podcast. We put out 2 each and every week. We have a comment line, 844-48-VOCAL. I mean, we're everywhere, for crying out loud.
I mean, honestly, anywhere you find podcasts, we're on it. I mean, if there's some obscure site we haven't found yet, I guess. But otherwise, we're on Spotify or YouTube. We actually have the full-length ones on there, too, by the way. You can go there. And, every other site, Apple, the Google one, iHeartRadio. Isn't that where you find it, Brewski?
Yes, I do. That's where I find it, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, we're always looking for more exposure. So if you love us, you hate us, give us a comment, whether it's on our socials or at our phone number, 844-48-VOCAL. And welcome to the show.
Need to know news.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
News you need to know.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
So much news, Harness. Are you prepared for the day, Walter Harness? Walter Cronkite?
Yes. I prefer Tom Harness Brokaw, maybe.
Okay.
Listen, the Biden topic is where I want to start things off. I have a couple of articles to reference here. And speaking of our social medias, YouTube in particular, the Biden clip where we were discussing, like, what do we do here? What's happening? It's been growing in recent days. It kind of sat there for a day or two, but now it's picking up steam. And YouTube does this thing where some people will comment, but there must be some sort of obscenity filter, or I don't know what it is. But it's showing me you have 10 comments, but it only shows me 2 of them, which means the other ones are apparently so offensive or broke some sort of rule that they won't even show it to us, the creator. So, it's a Wild West out there. And you never know what people are really commenting on. So, there's a lot of divisiveness on the left as to what we should or shouldn't be doing, and the right is laughing themselves hysterically and taunting the living shit out of us. And the past week or so, all of these comments I'm reading or videos I'm seeing where the right is just, dancing a jig, I don't really know what to say because they're not wrong. They should be ecstatic. And you'll notice, though, Trump is not calling for Biden to step down. Gee, I wonder why. Because he knows anyone else would probably have a better chance. He wants to deal with what he knows, not what he doesn't know. So,
well, but I think he's also keeping a low profile because the Epstein documents are starting to come out, and he is mentioned in the Epstein documents 67 times.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what does happen with that.
And also the Independent in London actually has a great story that I've been sharing all over Twitter at by some brewski, by the way, if you know. And the Independent actually has a whole story on the sexual proclivities of one Donald John Trump, and it's really interesting reading. It really is.
I'm curious why it's not getting more momentum or why mainstream media is not getting onto it, but I don't know. That just slightly threw me off. Where was I? Where was I going?
Well, and I tell you what, David Korn from Yahoo News, he actually said, well, you know, I had this story a while ago, but it was being peddled to me by a shady guy, and I didn't want to put it up there. Well, you work for effing Yahoo News, okay? Why would they be afraid to get sued by Trump? Like, seriously, you know what I mean? And so the Independent ran with it, and then other outlets are starting to pick up on it now. So I think people are just being a little too careful with him because of how litigious he is, and I think he's keeping his mouth shut, and he has been for 10 days now, in part because he knows this deluge of shit. I mean, the Katie Johnson lawsuit that she pulled right before the election. That's become news because she was getting death threats, literal death threats, you know, and so yeah, it'd be interesting to hear what her attorney Lisa Bloom had to say about that whole thing at the time, because she's kept quiet also.
Mm-hmm. I think Trump might be smart enough to just not get in the way of the bad news cycle happening for Biden. Because anything, you know, there's rumors that he was supposed to announce his VP pick last week after the debate, and now he's not going to. Somebody told him, like, the other dude has bad press going on. Just stay out of his way right now, and it's working to some extent. And that's with everything with Trump. Like, nothing seems to stick to him. As I've said before, I don't care if he's raping little boys. His team is not going to care. So,
well, here's the thing, though. He did the other day mention, I don't know a thing about Project 2025. I don't know a thing at all, except Stephen Miller is one of the people who wrote it. John McEntee, his top aide, was one of the people who wrote it. All these people, he's trying to distance himself from that thing. And I'm sorry, but you can't, because it's right on you now, dude.
Yeah, we'll dive into that a little deeper with as we move forward here. But back to your original point, Honest. Where are you going?
So Biden and the bad publicity cycle going on. So I don't know. I mean, first of all, so much has happened in the past week and a half with this story. It's a little hard to even keep track, because what I woke up this morning thinking I was going to come on the show and say has already been changed because of the news cycle. Let me just start with this. You know, there's a narrative out there, even coming from the DNC, that we cannot change the candidate, that we couldn't transfer money to anyone, we couldn't transfer staff to anyone, that it's too late in the process, Biden's already got the delegates, blah, 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 blah. First, I can read the article if you really want me to, but that's not true, actually. The DNC does have rules in place that would allow us to do this if Biden was on board with it. And the one person that the transferring the money is an interesting thing. The only person he could transfer it to is the other person on his ticket. So Kamala Harris could take over his money and his staffing. And, you know, there's this big theory floating around out there that if Biden were to resign as president right now, then Kamala Harris would be sworn in as president. She would have to pick a new vice president. And then in the fall, she'd be running as the incumbent. She'd already be President Harris. And, you know, the money, the sport, all this hypothetical polling, everything might shift and blah, 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 blah. We've seen multiple Democrats this past week. Started with one, but now we're up to double digits on Democrats that are calling for him to step down, which is unprecedented. I mean, I can't ever remember a time where your candidate is running and people in his own party are telling him to step down. But the reason I say everything kind of changed this morning is Biden wrote a letter to the Democrats and went on Morning Joe and just said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not stepping down.
Yeah.
Like, he's digging his feet in. And if he's not going to go willingly, then we can't do this, even though there is the open convention option. That's a terrible option. So it appears that we may just be walking off a cliff. And
I think he shouldn't go. I think he should stay.
I made the point last week when we were talking, and I said it's too late. And, you know, I didn't mean logistically, obviously, but I meant for me personally, it's too late for me because I've lost some trust in the Democratic Party. Because if you knew this for so long. You have been next to him, watching him. If you're only jumping now because he opened his robe in front of America and showed him his whole self, that's bullshit to me, dude. It makes me lose faith in what you guys are doing, and it makes it harder to trust. Now, do I have any options? Because, my option is to roll to the other side, and obviously I'm not going to do that. But I want some accountability for what's happened here. The fact that you guys have sat on this for months knowing that he acts like this and that he has some issues with his memory and recall.
You guys know, by the way, that when George W. Bush was president, he went to bed every night at 9 o'clock because he had to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep, and he was not to be woken up unless it was a dire emergency. You know that, right?
Listen, I don't care what the cult does. I know the cult will never question their dear leader and anything, but we're not cult members, and I think it's perfectly legitimate to be having this question because, to address your point, Nick, I don't know how far back it goes where how many people really knew how bad this was. The reason it's hitting the public the way it is because we've never seen this before. And that debate was not a bad debate. It was truly disturbing. I don't know if you saw Michael Moore's op-ed, but he is accusing the DNC or people in Biden's circle of basically elder abuse. That how dare you not tell us this was going on? How dare you trout this man out? And obviously there's something wrong with him, and none of us can unsee that.
Well, yeah. but Steve, this country has seen something like this before. And you may be too young to remember, but Ronald Reagan. The same questions came up with Ronald Reagan when he was running for re-election.
Yeah, but did he ever come out and just fall on his fucking face in a televised debate for an hour and a half where his own party was like, what the fuck was that?
Go watch the clips. I mean, Reagan was looking for the second term.
A Democratic example, because I really don't care what the cult does.
No. But you said we've never seen this before. But I'm letting you know that it has happened in the country before. And on top of that, let's remember that back then too, Reagan had a lot of Democrats that actually crossed over and voted for him. The Reagan Democrats. Those are conservative Democrats and that sort of thing. So back then, though, it wasn't unusual. Even though we know Reagan to be this awful president, he was nowhere near where the Republican Party is now.
I don't think it's fair to equate the cult with Republicans of the Ronald Reagan era. Not that I agreed with their politics then,
sure,
but they weren't the same party that they are now.
Yeah, no, what was the polling back then? Was his re-election neck and neck, and then he went down after whatever you're referencing?
No, he won. He won a second term.
I'm aware of that. I'm saying before the election, did everyone see the polls tanking and freaking out, or was he so far ahead that whatever?
No, it wasn't. It was so far ahead. But the problem is that, he was Saint Ronnie, and nobody wanted to seem like they were disrespecting him. I mean, Reagan had a rule was that you never speak ill of another Republican.
Sure. Here's the problem with history. Everything is new until it happens. Everything is unprecedented until it happens. And we're in a unique situation right now where our candidate is truly scaring the shit out of Democrats. Open Labs, who does a lot of the Democratic Insider polling, released their electoral map prediction. Are you familiar with this?
No. I'm not.
Since the debate, we're looking at a electoral landslide where the Republicans will win 333 votes to the Democrats 205. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's like 10 states that go Democratic. So if we're walking into an electoral landslide, an absolute slaughter, which will lead to the Senate most likely going Republican. So we'll have Trump, we'll have Republican Congress, Republican Senate. We're going to have 2 years of that, and Trump's walking in feeling he has blanket immunity, whether that's correct or not. This is what we're potentially walking into, which is why I think it's completely appropriate that people are freaking out given Biden's scary debate. Not a bad debate, it's a scary debate.
Yeah.
But my point is, if he's not going to back down, then we're just going to have to, obviously rally the troops. And I'm not worried about the three of us or anyone else that was going to vote blue. I'm worried about the center of the country. And I think we're walking off a cliff here.
Black voters are behind the president right now. I keep seeing all these
not in the right states.
He goes, excuse me?
I said, not in the right states. They're not.
But you don't understand, Steve. Just because you love the center for some reason,
is there who's going to decide the election? It's not that I love them; it's that I'm not naive. Those are the ones we need to win over. We're voting blue no matter who. I get that, and the red's going to vote red no matter who. It's the undecideds. It's the swing states that are going to decide this election. And the Democrats' own inciting polling information is showing an electoral landslide for Trump. That is scary.
Wait, who is this poller?
Go ahead and Google.
Okay, I'm gonna go look them up. I'm gonna see who they are. Go ahead.
Me too. It's been all over the mainstream news media. I mean, this is not something I'm making up.
See, I go with people that I actually know for polling. I don't go to open labs.
This is who the Democratic Party is hiring. So if you want to tell them they're picking someone bad, then feel free. But I'm just saying, this is their own internal polling data. It's a scary situation we're walking into. So the narrative's going to have to switch to it's just the Biden administration that we're running. It's not Joe. We're going to have to do our best to just try to shift this away from being a one-person thing into just you're voting blue, you're voting the Democratic ticket, you're voting the Biden administration. Yeah, I mean,
sure.
But that's what it always is. Unfortunately, people get so focused on the person at
the candidate. Yes, of course they get focused on that.
But they don't realize that it takes a lot more than just the candidate to get things done.
All right, so let me ask you this: if Brewski from 6 months from now traveled back in time and tapped you on the shoulder right now and said, "Dude, that polling is correct. It's going to be a landslide in the fall. We're going to get fucking."
I'm riding with the president no matter what.
Wow, so that's cult-like mentality right
there.
No,
it's not. No, it's not. I know what I read.
You know we're going to die and you're going
to it? No, Steve, stop. You know what it is? I'm reading what I'm reading right now, and I'm doing my own research. I trust myself. You know,
yourself just came from the future and told you you're wrong.
Yeah, what are we going to fantasy land? Come on.
That's what I'm asking. Yes, it's
no, I'm not engaging in fantasy land. I want real stuff, you know?
All right.
Yeah, if I could come back in 6 months and tell myself who won the Super Bowl, I'll bet on that. Yeah, but I mean, come on, nobody can. That's not going to happen.
All right. Opinion noted, Nick. If you know that we're driving off a cliff, what do you think we should be doing? Just blindly supporting this?
So you know for sure. Okay, thank you. Well, tell me who wins the Super Bowl, please.
Fucking stop talking over me, goddammit. It does not come out in the edits. It makes it a goddamn nightmare. Stop it. You've been doing it this whole fucking show. Pipe the fuck down for a minute.
You know what? I am gone now. Bye-bye. See you later.
Stop it, dude. I'm
doing it. I'm gone. Bye, Steve. Bye. I quit.
Do not.
Bye.
Not.
Bye.
Dude, listen.
Wow. Well, here we go again. Listen,
unbelievable, dude.
I mean, I can't have us talking over each other. It's insane. And you won't let me make a fucking point. And what was with that word salad he threw out at the beginning? 10 different topics as I'm trying to set up a story.
I have no idea. I mean, yeah, it was all crazy. It was all crazy. You can't get a word in edgewise. I mean, yeah. I thought we started the show. This is easy breezy brewski. What happened to that?
Road rage.
Yeah, right.
As we're driving off this cliff, road rage. So
here's what I don't.
Why is this relationship so fragile that it takes any level of conflict? Where I'm not saying something crazy. This is a well-established narrative in the last week and a half.
It's not even an if he would have stopped for a minute and let me get a word in, you guys weren't even arguing about anything. There's nothing to argue. This is all if this happens. There's nothing to argue about. At the end of the fucking day, me, Nick, Steve, Brewski, we can't fucking do anything. We're already made the choice. We're going to vote blue. So we're just talking to bounce ideas and try and get in the heads of other Americans and what they're thinking, and we have to look at them all. I understand Brewski goes to all these pages, but I'm looking at people like my mother who sees a little bit on the news here and there and what she's thinking. The people that don't ever engage in anything but Facebook. What are they thinking? We got to be able to step outside ourselves, and I don't understand why he can't fucking do that.
I don't know. These are the conversations happening, and they should be happening. I'm going to stand by my statement. It's cult-like mentality to just say, nope. No, I see no evil, hear no evil. That's what that side does. So these are valid conversations to have. I'm just sorry that Brewski is so just on the cliff's edge constantly that any amount of pushback. And just on the technical side, why does he not understand that us talking over each other just makes this an editing nightmare where neither of us is heard?
Yeah, no. I mean, it just doesn't make for a great show. If you want to make your points, do it in a concise way. We're not here to yell at each other. I think he forgets that we're friends here. He's not coming on as a Democrat on Fox News to have an argument, a debate back and forth. It's adversarial. Like, we're friends. What the fuck, Brewski?
I think that's the problem. I don't think Brewski and I really are friends. I don't think he likes me very much. I mean, the amount of visceral animosity I get from that guy on a regular basis. You know, he likes you. I think he tolerates me. The threshold has gotten very low. So
yeah, well, we can't continue to baby step. I mean, I think you telling him to come on, bring it down, dude. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is not entertaining content when we get that way. So
no, he's been derailing me for 20 minutes. So
yeah,
you're doing the Trump tactic to Biden. Let me throw out 10 different topics so you don't know which one to respond to, and just derail the whole conversation. When I forget my train of thought because he's thrown out 10 things, that's not a good flow for the show, I would say.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, this show is now sans Brewski. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I tried to give him his platform and let him speak. And I felt like, opinion noted. So I was trying to throw it over to you, and he still wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That's a great question, dude. I don't know. I mean, I think what you said of, we got to move forward if Joe is unwilling to step down and going to stick to his guns, which, you know what? I don't know that he's going to do that completely yet. I understand the letter, but we've got a week here of, Chuck Schumer that, when he was on, Sunday morning, was talking about, I am telling him to get away from all of us and go talk to your family. Go talk to people who know you and care. And I think if he does that, or if those people continue to come around him, that they still could have the chance to say, yeah, maybe the best thing is that you step aside. This one's too important to lose. There's no ego involved here. In fact, you'll be celebrated if you step down and Kamala wins this thing, So we got another week at least.
He's definitely risking his legacy. And one of the quotes in his letter was something to the effect of, we've been having this conversation for a week now. Like, let's all move on. It's been a week, so we're done with this, are we?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, every day, more and more people are starting to feel like, yeah, dude, you should probably step down. There's way too much risk here. So you're right. I mean, his answer is not definitive. We have basically until the convention where he can back out of this thing. But I don't know.
You brought up Michael Moore, and I sort of agree with that, dude. The whole side of elder abuse, and you're keeping this guy in as a puppet right now because you think that's where we're at. This is not what America's all about. You put the choice up in front of us, the best candidate in front of us, and if you know that he's not the best, I mean, this doesn't happen. He was tired. He was sick of the debate. This doesn't happen that quickly, dude. They've known about this for a while.
Yeah. I wonder how long they've known and how bad it is. And I can envision myself, if I was in that situation maybe 6 months ago and I'm realizing it, to think that it is getting too late. Maybe if we just keep this on the down, maybe we can just get through this. Maybe, because the primary, there was no primary. He ran against nobody, really. There was some dude that no one ever heard of running against him. But
yeah, see, I don't even remember that. So
I mean, it wasn't a real primary. It never is when your party's got the incumbent. There's always some token person who wants to run, but yeah, how long have they really known? But even if, here we are now the whole world knows. I mean, we all saw it in front of our eyes, and there's been so many people like Michael Moore that have said what I've been saying, like, that was not a bad debate, it was scary. Like, I can't unsee that.
When I sent you his interview, or part of his interview with George Stephanopoulos, I think I prefaced it with saying, like, you know what? Fuck the bad debate. Put that aside. Like, watch this little clip of this interview, and it puts you in a mental state of mind, in a position where I felt bad for this old man. Like, for someone who had done so much good for this country for a long time, it's like, it's like one of your favorite singers, Dave Matthews, for me, when he's 90, if he sucks, should he stop performing? Fuck yes, dude. Don't let me remember you that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm worried about his legacy. And speaking of that, I noticed Rod Stewart is coming to my town this summer. It's the only known artist on the summer concert lineup this year. I just had this vision of Rod Stewart up there singing, "If You Think I'm Sexy," and he's like 90 now or whatever. Like,
it's funny, dude. Yeah, please, Rod the Bod Stewart is not the Rod Bod Stewart we once knew, but my mom saw him a couple of years ago. That's his audience, Stephen. 77, 78-year-old.
I just hope he either doesn't play that song or sings like, "If You Thought I Was Sexy."
Yeah, right. Oh boy. Well, I don't know. What do you think? What's your opinion on what we should do moving forward? Do you feel like I do? There's nothing to really do.
Well, I mean, the only thing we can do, the public and podcasters and all that kind of thing, is to add our voice to whatever chorus, the stay the course or the no, we got to abandon ship. I mean, we can do that, and we can add to the online conversation, which I do think is important. There is some level of a public pressure that will weigh on elected officials. I mean, that's who they listen to.
Sure.
They listen to data, and they listen to constituents to some extent. So, but beyond that, no, it's entirely up to Biden, because if he does it, it could work and it could be seamless, quote unquote. And if he doesn't do it, then no. What I'm worried about right now is he's going to dig his heels in, but the momentum's still going to keep building that we can't support him, which will lead to an open convention, which will lead to a flawed candidate, which will lead to a guaranteed electoral landslide. So,
you still have the opinion that if he did gracefully step aside and Kamala became our president, or could become our president, you think that's a no-brainer?
I don't know if anything is a no-brainer right now, but yes, I think an untainted candidate, somebody who's younger, who's a female, who's a minority, she would have to, by the way, to pick a running mate who's probably a slightly older white guy, just to balance things out for those that are paranoid. I mean, if she ran and picked like some extreme, like young Muslim or another black guy, then
yeah,
a little too much for some of the undecideds. But yeah, could it work? Yes. Biden is definitely tainted, and I think the whole conversation would shift. And, as of last night, my opinion was I think Joe should step down. I just think it's the right thing to do. But like I said, if he's digging his heels in, this could get really sticky. So.
Have you heard the secret audio that was recorded of Trump while he was playing golf? Have you heard it?
Yeah. Just begging on Biden and Kamala, and
Yeah. Here, I'll play it for you so the audience can hear it if they haven't heard it. This was taken by one of the members at this golf club, had his phone down by his side, talking to Trump in a golf cart.
How did I do with the debate the other night?
Oh, amazing.
That old broken down pile of crap. Yeah. It's a bad guy. He just quit, He's quitting the race. Is that right? Yep, I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's just so fucking bad. So I can't imagine. But can you imagine that guy dealing with Putin and the president of China, who's a fierce person? He's a fierce man.
He's a fierce man.
Tough guy.
What a fucking asshole, dude. I mean, this just again shows the character of Trump. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's thrilled about it. And I love or hate, but I love that this doesn't fucking stick in the debate, that he lied so many fucking times and said so many untruths, and that people aren't as afraid of that as they are a Biden administration. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Listening to that audio, I feel like I don't know what to say to it, because he did. I don't want to say that he won that debate, but Biden epically lost it. So Trump is in the right, per se, to be doing a victory lap like this. Sure. I mean, his verbiage and all that shit is obviously arrogant and dismissive, but yeah, we are down and out, and we do hold ourselves to different standards, and so does the media, apparently. Because, I don't know, I mean, Trump's lies have gotten plenty of reporting, plenty of airtime, but the narrative does not stick in the pop culture world. Whereas this other narrative correctly does, because Biden thing was scary. That should be a narrative that's sticking, but
yeah,
I don't know why. Like the Philadelphia Inquirer called for Trump to step down because all of his lies, and somehow that's just sort of dismissed because we all have accepted that. Apparently, your brother's saying he accepted Biden being feeble because that's what he already thought he was.
Yeah, 100%. And he wasn't surprised by it. He was like, that's all I ever saw. So, yeah, I mean, with Trump, I keep seeing people come out and be like, here's Biden and his wife, here's Trump and his wife. Like we already know he's a fucking asshole and a douchebag, and the Biden's a good person. We can't get anywhere with that. That's not how we get people back on board with. People know what they know about Trump right now. They've either accepted it or just become fucking numb to it, which I think is most of the population that's undecided. Like, you're numb to what Trump is all about.
I will tell you, now is not the time for the liberal circular firing squad that Obama warned us all about a few years back. The libs should not be doing what we've all just done here and squabble into, debauchery. We some of the comments we got online this week were, oh, look how quickly you guys are bailing on your Biden. Your Democrats have no loyalty. And my response was, this is what it's like when you're not in a cult. We're willing to look with our eyeballs and see what we see and call things out. And like I said, at some point, we're just going to have to rally around this. If it's whoever our candidate is, we're going to have to support it. But boy, shit is not looking good. And if it's truly an electoral landslide this fall, I mean, this is a scary era we're walking into, where if they control the Senate, the Congress, the White House, the Supreme Court, he has immunity. I mean, it's game over.
I don't want, and that, you know what? I don't want to be dramatic and say, like, we're done. It's over. The country, democracy, it's over. But that's somewhat of the truth. I asked my brother, who's a Republican, last night, I said, what do you think about this Supreme Court decision that just came down? He's like, what, the immunity? Yeah, I said, yeah, immunity for the president, absolute immunity in his role as president. He said it's not really different than it ever has been. I was like, oh, no. Why do you say that? And he was like, all these years, it's just kind of been an unspoken thing. And now they just put it down on paper. I was like, that's fucking dangerous, dude. That's dangerous. The presidents may have gotten away with shit in the past, but at the end of the day, they could hold some accountability for law and order. No one's above the law. This erases all of that.
One of John Dean, one of the prosecutors for the Watergate with Nixon.
Yeah.
He said in an interview that if this was the precedent back then, Nixon would not have needed to resign. We maybe would have gotten him on one little stupid thing, but it wouldn't have been Watergate. The most gold standard, famous presidential debauchery in history would not have happened if we had these rules in place that we now do.
Yes, I saw that. That's crazy to me, dude. He was taking it, and I don't want to say he was taking it lightly, but maybe he needs to do some more research on it. But he was just, this has always been this way. Nothing's really changed. I was like, when you put it down on paper and the Supreme Court makes a decision on it, things have changed. They wouldn't do it otherwise. And this whole Project 2025 thing, I don't know where you're at on all of that, but they've been in the news a ton lately too. That should scare the shit out of you.
Yes, and it does. And I'm glad it's finally getting some publicity, because they've been hiding it in the wide open public, and people are now paying attention. Heritage Foundation is behind it, who we already know Trump is in bed with. See, the reason they're doing this thing is because they've already done it with the Supreme Court and other courts. All of Trump's court appointees for the Supreme Court, and like Eileen Cannon down in Florida, who's got a lifetime appointment, these are all off the Heritage Foundation's list of vetted conservatives that we know will be long-serving judges that will enact our agenda. And Trump publicly said back in 2016, I mean, he held it up. I got a list here from the Heritage Foundation of judges that I should be picking, and these are who I'm going to pick. And
it's a manifesto, dude.
Yeah, and they saw that it worked, so now they have this entire plan that is definitely going to be the end of democracy. I mean, they are coming at liberals full on and not hiding it at all, and there will be nothing to stop it if there is a landslide this fall.
Kevin Roberts is the leader of Project 2025. He's been in the news because, he made some live statements. This should scare you.
We are going to win. We're in the process of taking this country back. We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
I mean, that should scare you, dude. This is modern day America. That should scare the shit out of you. If the left allows it to be, so this isn't a democracy anymore, is basically what I read into that, right?
And why the right doesn't see that this could all flip the other way someday. And this presidential immunity thing, I know they've broken it down into core functions of the presidency, official acts and unofficial acts. So unofficial acts, they're on the hook for. I don't see why the president couldn't make any act an official act if he doesn't do it on the down low, if he just publicly announces, I'm doing this. Like, that's an official act at that point. How isn't it?
100%. If you're doing it, I mean, that's why I keep saying, like, official acts is very gray, and that is on purpose. That's the way this was put into place. Everything that we have been talking about for the longest time before Trump appointed the Supreme Court justices, the big three, it has come true. It doesn't matter that they all said, like, oh, I wouldn't change Roe v. Wade. I would not do that. They all obviously did it, and they are just falling like dominoes of everything that they said they wouldn't do. They are doing. This is a plan, dude. This is not all coincidence.
Yeah. And even if you want to get a little deeper into this core, response, the core actions of the presidency have blanket 100% immunity is what the Supreme Court just said. So I don't understand. They said the pardon power is a good example. The president can do anything with the pardon power. Even if somebody bribes him overtly in public, it doesn't matter because that's a core responsibility of the presidency. So why couldn't a president, murder someone, rape a little boy, and then pardon himself? You can't question it.
Yeah, you can't. No.
So if you can't question the pardon power, a president can pardon themselves for anything. And how can you impeach somebody if you can only be impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors? If you're immune from those things, then there's no basis for impeachment.
No, there's no longer a check and balance, dude. It leaves it all completely open. It's dictatorship.
It really is. So this fall is going to be a lot of fun. I'm starting to brace myself that Trump is going to win and we are in for a shit show. And I'm just going to, try to roast some marshmallows on the dumpster.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
A lot of political talk. That's because a lot of things are happening, for crying out loud. When you think about Donald Trump, keep in mind, you have to think about your whole party. But if you're an actual American, you're not thinking of it that way. You're thinking of bipartisan law and this working like it was intended to be used, this whole system. Marjorie Taylor Greene is back in the news. This is just another example of how dumb the people are that are surrounding the next president. If it's going to be Trump, well, yeah, she's going to be a big part of his cabinet. She came out and talked about the Declaration of Independence. Did you see anything about this?
I did, but go ahead.
So funny, dude. She's been widely mocked on social media after claiming certain founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence when they did not. On July 5th, Green wrote on X, formerly Twitter, the average age of the signers of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776 is 44 years old, but more than a dozen were 35 or younger. She then listed 8 founding fathers and their ages on the date. Okay, so
and listen, these are the people that signed the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, that's right. Thomas Jefferson was 33 years old. Did he sign the Declaration of Independence?
I don't know. Don't quiz me on all of these. There were just several that jumped out as being blatantly, like Paul Revere was on the list.
Yes, Paul Revere was on there. Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, John Hancock is the one I think she got right. James Monroe, Aaron Burr. I think she had 2 on her list that were actually had signed. Right, all the rest were fucking Paul Revere, dude.
No, that's, I think Abraham Lincoln signed it. I think Ronald Reagan probably signed it at some point.
George Washington. She said George Washington signed it. That's comical.
I mean, did she really just do this off the top of her head and never think to fact check it? I won't even put a title on our podcast without checking the spelling or did I get this, it never occurred to her to
no.
List, huh?
Because this is that whole party. You always say you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. Like, this is Trump from the neck down. This is they all talk without thinking, without fact checking. And, they call our party feelings over facts. That's not the truth. You guys say anything you fucking feel to try and make it a fact, but you guys always speak without any fact checking. And it's tiresome.
Yeah, the whole feeling thing. You watch the Wikipedia page now for the Declaration signing. Those conservatives are on there right now trying to amend it to say that, yes, Paul Revere signed it and all of these.
Exactly.
That's what they did. What they did when Sarah Palin made some epic, historical blunder. They all went on the Wikipedia page to try to rewrite history.
Is that the truth?
Yeah. I don't really. She said some quote. I think it was actually about Paul Revere, and it was wrong. And so, yeah, the Wikipedia page got inundated with people trying to rewrite it.
Jeez, dude. That's crazy to me because I am so much more of a person that respects somebody who is like, I fucking misspoke, dude. That was stupid, and moves on from it. I don't want a fucking liar, dude. I hate liars.
Because facts matter to us. That's the whole problem. Facts don't matter over there. It's all based on feelings and ideology.
Yes. And it's not going to get any better, dude. Well, here's a question for you. I'm going to pose this to you because a lot of people discuss this. You and I are in different situations. I don't have any kids. All right. I have some allegiance to family and stuff like that, but I don't have kids. Rachel's talking seriously about making a move. And I know that we've all talked about this before, but this time around, it's a serious conversation.
If what I'm afraid of happens, White House, Congress, Senate, Supreme, yeah, that's a real time to probably be having that conversation. I don't have the option because of what you're saying with kids and some other entanglements and broke and, but,
right.
But yeah, this does come up every election cycle on both sides. And I think that this one might be the most serious one where if we really walk into this absolute shit show that, yeah, I don't know. Maybe watching from Canada or Sweden or something wouldn't be so bad.
If any of those places will still take us, you dumb motherfuckers, dude. I don't know, dude. I would say you should really think about a plan only because I could see your firstborn Cross. I could see them moving with you. It depends how bad things get, dude. You ever seen Handmaid's Tale? Like, with everything happening in this Project 2025 manifesto that Trump did come out, by the way, and say, oh, here's the tweet for you. I have no knowledge of these people. I don't know them. Well, they served on his cabinet, dude. He knows these fucking people. And they're talking about, the way that they're talking about abortion, trying to get the abortion pill banned completely. They're going to do some seriously terrible shit.
Fun times we're living in right now.
Yes. And I don't even know what to do about it, Harness. I don't even know. I feel helpless. So,
on with the news.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this. We interrupt our program to bring you a special. Here is a news bulletin. We interrupt this program to bring you.
All the humanity and all the faith.
A date which will live in infamy. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Need to know news. News you need to know.
All right. I came with some non-political stories because I knew this was going to be a depressing show. I didn't think Brewski was going to quit over it all, but, so here we are. So, yes. Can I talk non-politics for a couple of minutes?
Please, dude. I would love it if you did that.
Although this does involve the Supreme Court. So I watch a lot of the cops versus Karen videos nowadays. I didn't know I liked these things, but Facebook figured me out, and now this is pretty much all I get in my video news feeds. It's pretty much dirt bike videos and Karens being arrested.
You love them, dude. You love those Karen videos. Are you still watching also the videos of the people, saying like, hey, I'm not driving, I'm traveling, that kind of shit?
That pops up every now and again, too, the sovereign citizen thing, which
that's right.
I don't know where that movement came from or why none of them have seen any of these videos because it never, ever, ever works in their favor. No. I've even seen some where they're in court in front of the judge and the judge just smacks the shit down left and right. So I don't know what hill they're trying to die on. It's never worked for anyone once.
I think that it's had to work for someone at some low level. Some little thing went off and the judge was like, okay, whatever. But it's like 1 out of a million, right?
Yeah. I don't know who got lucky with it, but yeah, it's hilarious to me. And, these Karen videos, it's basically entitled people that are just being blatant assholes from the get-go. And I love it when they get their windows broken. Oh, that is so fucking hilarious.
I do too.
There's a theme that goes through all these. Everyone knows someone. Everyone's the son of a cop, or you don't know who I am, and I know my rights, and I'm going to sue you. And there's a theme that runs through all of these videos, and it's just hilarious to me to watch these entitled assholes, men and women, just getting completely smacked down.
Completely.
One of them that has come up, referencing back to the Supreme Court, there was a ruling a few years back where it is freedom of speech to give a cop the middle finger.
Okay.
You can give a cop the middle finger, freedom of speech. That's not any sort of indecency or, disorderly conduct or anything like that.
Why? Because it's ASL? I mean, we got to be able to have sign language, right?
Well, the Supreme Court, back before it was completely tainted, because I believe this was back in, it's probably my article somewhere, but this was 2016, somewhere around there, give or take. They found that it's freedom of speech. You can verbally tell the cop to fuck off, too. Now, if you're drunk and you're screaming in public, they can get you for disorderly conduct. But if you're just talking to the cop and you just want to say, like, this is fucking ridiculous, fuck you, I can't do, that's not illegal. It's free speech. And I've seen some of these videos where guys, drive by a cop and they give him the middle finger and then the cop pulls them over. Now, the smart cops don't admit that that's why they pulled them over.
Right.
There's videos out there right now where the cop immediately gets up to the window. It's just like, what was that about? What was the middle finger for? Why'd you give me the middle finger? And, the guy just starts to explain, like, I've got every right to. And then, now the cop has stated that that's why they've done it. And then they try to find other things. Like, oh, well, I see your taillights out too, or I think you were speeding, or whatever.
Totally.
The smart cops will see the middle finger, pull you over, and never mention it, and just find other reasons.
Yes.
Not all the cops out there are smart. Vermont has agreed to pay $175,000 to settle a lawsuit on behalf of a man who was charged with a crime for giving a state trooper the middle finger in 2018, the state chapter of the ACLU said on Wednesday. The lawsuit was filed in 2021 by the ACLU of Vermont on behalf of Gregory Bombard. It says that Bombard's First Amendment rights were violated after an unnecessary traffic stop and retaliatory arrest in 2018. Like I said, I don't know if I see the year on here, but a few years prior to 2018, they ruled that was perfectly, acceptable speech. So this guy's getting $175,000, which I almost now want to drive around just giving cops the middle fingers to see if they'll be dumb enough to bait themselves into a lawsuit like that.
No, you don't, dude. No, you don't. Be better than that. Yeah, only because, dude, like you mentioned, I mean, they can find all kinds of stuff to take you down with. That's what surprises me is that, like you've always told your kids, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, here's my insurance, all the good stuff on how to treat cops. No, law enforcement, they are not kings. We get to speak to them however we want. That said, it's going to outweigh or however this outcome happens, well, that's just your tone will decide it. So do with that what you will.
It's a big part of it. Watching all these videos, and I also watched a lot of First Amendment audit videos where you learn a lot of good intricacies of the law of what you can and can't do. And you can stand your ground in a lot of these cases. You can say that if there's not reasonable, articulable suspicion I've committed a crime, I'm not required to give you my ID. And you can stand your ground on some of these rights that you do know. And I love the people like, I know my rights. You can't demand I get out of the car. They can. Supreme Court upheld that.
Yeah.
So, and the cops always tell them, like, I don't think you do know your rights because I do this for a living. I'm ordering you out of that car. That's when their windows get smashed and they get dragged out. It's just hilarious to me. But you can stand your ground and know your rights. But it's way more practical if you just kill them with kindness, because these videos show me how many people are just assholes to cops. And of course you're giving them a reason to find something or to, tack on what they've already caught you for. So you're probably better off yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
And there is one thing about talking to a cop and saying honestly, talking to him honestly, but most of these people that are making these videos are trying to rile the cop. So it's unnecessarily badgering. Fuck you, you pig, stuff like that. So you can get away with it. But like you made an excellent point several podcasts ago when you were talking about police interaction with your kids, is that you know what? 9 times out of 10, whatever happened is going to be fought out in court. We're not going to do it on the side of the road. So if you're willing to go through that process, go for it, dude.
No, that's a key point. And I've heard cops tell people that. Like, you can bring it up with the judge, but right here, right now, this is what's happening.
Yes.
That's the problem, because they have that authority at that moment to write you up for whatever they feel. And it may 6 months later get thrown out in court, but in the meantime, you're going to jail that night, your car is getting towed, you've got tickets to pay, court appearances to go to.
Maybe you lose your job. Like, it's going to fuck with your life, dude.
Yeah. No, I've been pulled over a few times where it's yes sir, no sir, and they just expect you to be an asshole. There was one time I got caught with pot, and I just, yes sir, no sir, no, you're correct, sir. Like, I didn't push back at all. And the cop is just like, you know what, dump it off on the side of the road and just go. Like, they don't want to do the paperwork. I keep hearing cops say that too, and they're not joking about that. You know how much paperwork I have to do because I'm arresting you now because you won't leave this bar even though you're being told you're being trespassed. Like, I don't want to do this paperwork. They don't.
Totally. You're going to find cops that are easy, agreeable people and don't want to do all that shit. And then you're going to find the ones that make it on some of the videos that are, power hungry people that shouldn't be cops in the first place. Of course, you're going to see them out there. I wonder how many law enforcement we have in this country. I mean, do you think it's hundreds of thousands at least?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a million, but it's got to be 6 figures. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so too. So yeah, we always say you can't be a bad apple in the bunch when you're a cop, but you can. They are there. You shouldn't be there, but you are.
Watching these videos, I understand very thoroughly now why in the good old days, quote unquote, cops would just punch you in the fucking stomach and throw you in the back of the car because you're screaming and spitting on them and saying racist things. And yeah, I can see why there'd be a little good old boy like, let's just get him to the jailhouse. We'll take care of it from there, you smart ass. But
100%.
This era of body cams is a good thing. There is accountability. That era of the Wild West cop is over. These people do have to be very politically correct and sensitive and realize they're being recorded. And I've learned now, too, that cops often narrate these videos on purpose. Stop resisting. You're kicking me right now. You're kicking me. You just spit on him. Like, they're narrating it because they know it's going to be in court.
Laying down the facts, dude, just so they're all audible and all on tape.
Yeah, but it's good that they're videoing, and everyone takes out their cell phone. And I love the cops like, I'm already recording this. It's public record. You can get it. The whole thing's been on recording. You don't need to hold your phone in my face.
100%.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's good that he's getting some money. It's nice to see a win once in a while,
$175,000. So if you want to play the lottery with the cops, there is an option for you. Good luck to you.
Yes. All right.
Need to know news.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
News you need to know.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
No one has time for bronchitis, not even Joe Biden. Does he have time for Parkinson's? Does he have time for any of this stuff? A Parkinson's expert visited the White House 8 times in 8 months and met with Biden's doctor to kind of talk about some of this stuff. This has been released just recently. My source is ABC News, and it was something that Stephanopoulos kind of talked about. An expert on Parkinson's disease visited the White House 8 times in an 8-month span between last July and March of this year, including one visit with the president's personal physician, according to the White House visitor logs. The Dr. Kevin Conrad is a neurologist and movement disorder specialist who works at Walter Reed, and he went in and visited
8 times?
8 times over 8 months. This is when we talk about, like, damn you, Democratic Party. If you knew this was going on and you didn't tell us, I fucking am mad at you. And I'm going to need some time to get over it. As part of his annual exam, the president was evaluated by a neurologist who found no signs of Parkinson's, according to the summary released just this last February. An extremely detailed neurological exam was again reassuring in that there were no findings which could be consistent with any caliber of any central neurological disorder, stroke, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, none of that stuff neurologically. He didn't show signs of any of it. And I mean, that's to be checked 8 times in 8 months. You
Yeah, I
know,
was going to say, why'd they have to check so many times if they were sure?
make sure, dude. We really want to make sure. I mean, they were obviously trying to make sure. The president has been adamant that his doctors have not recommended any cognitive testing, insisting in this interview that, hey, I've been checked out thoroughly over the last 8 months, and they see no signs of anything.
I can envision somebody, though, going, are you sure? Test them again. Like, come back in 2 months and test them one more time. Like,
yeah, 100%, dude. I mean, and I wonder if those visits made by that neurological doctor, the neurologist, were all over the map. Like, come at 12, come at 4, come at 7, come at 9. Like, see how he is throughout the different times. But they say they found nothing. So George Stephanopoulos still asked him, will you take a cognitive test? And he said, basically in the interview, you know, I don't need to. I'm fine. They don't know anything's going on with me. So I think what George Stephanopoulos said, I think you should take a cognitive test, and Trump should take a cognitive test. Chuck Schumer said the same thing, right? Let's have them both do it.
yes. Listen, if someone's accusing me of having a cocaine problem and I won't take a drug test, that's a red flag. Why wouldn't I want to take the drug test and to just show you, here it is? I mean, if Biden, everyone's worried about his mental status. So if he came out and showed us a cognitive test that was an age-appropriate result without any sort of, Parkinson's or dementia or anything, then, okay, I guess this narrative's dead. Like, okay, he's a little old and slow. He's not putting sentences together. But if he's not in true cognitive decline, then that would alleviate a lot of the worry going on right now. So why won't he?
I do wonder. I mean, it makes me suspicious, just like you said. I mean, if you're not doing coke, take the drug test and show us, that'll just black and white. That'll tell us exactly what it is. It shows that I don't understand in this country why presidents do not have to take all of this stuff. I had to take a drug test to work in an auto parts store, dude. Like, you don't have to take a drug test?
Yeah.
That shocks me.
I watched a special the other day about cognitive testing, and that there are some professions out there, airline pilots is the one that is coming to my brain, where there are mandatory retirement ages because they don't want to gamble on your cognitive skills. So I would think, the presidency, maybe we don't have a mandatory cutoff age, but maybe after age 65, you got to be taking these tests every few years just to alleviate our concerns.
Well, and it sounds like things can, when you're that age, when you're the age of Joe Biden, things can move forward so quickly that maybe once every 2 months, once every 3 months, you should be taking a cognitive test. If you want the best for this country, you would have no problem doing that.
No, it makes me worried about what he's hiding, that he knows it's probably not going to be the results he wants. But again, this is a little bit bigger than just you, Joe. I admire the hell out of you, but boy, this is a lot we're gambling right now. I mean, we are gambling everything. So take the test. If it doesn't turn out well, you don't need to mention it. But if it turns out great, then yeah. And I would love to see Trump take one, because despite his claims that I've taken them and passed them flawlessly, like, bullshit you have.
Man, camera, TV person, dude. He still remembers them all. They showed, I was watching a TikTok clip this past weekend, and it was really, on one hand, it was sad to watch, and on another hand, I understood it. This was Joe Biden split screen in 1985, talking to Congress and today. And the stark contrast between how sharp and how vocal their volume was, everything was so different that I thought to myself, dude, of course it is, dude. I look at a picture of myself 10 years ago. I have no gray. I have a hairline that comes up to my eyebrows, like, of course we all change. What are you showing us?
Yes. And that's what's disturbing to me about this past week of the news cycle with him and the Stephanopoulos interview, that he seems to not be acknowledging what we all saw with our own two eyes. I mean, he's saying, like, hey, it wasn't a great debate. I'm not, as sharp as I used to be, but it was worse than that. And I wish he would just, if he's going to stay in, at least own that, yeah, that was a disaster debate. And yeah, do the cognitive test or spin it how you're going to spin it. But your denial just makes me feel like you're treating us like Republicans, that we're just going to follow our dear leader no matter what you say.
On one hand, we are following our party no matter what happens, right? Yeah. So there is something to be said about that. Have you ever voted for a Republican on any ticket, local government, anywhere?
No. Not that I can recall, no. And the governor right now is a Republican, by the way, and he seems to be doing a decent job. So I'm going to have to weigh that because I'm voting in Nevada for the first time this fall. But otherwise, no. When I was in Michigan, Washington State, California, it's either been straight ticket or I may skip one if I just don't like either of them.
Okay. I'll have no problem saying, dude, that within the last 5 years, I have checked Republican on my local ballots for different things. Now, it's not, if I'm voting for 20 people on a ticket, maybe it's one or two, but sometimes you gotta cross party lines, dude. Now is not one of those times to do that. Once in a while you'll see a Republican, you think, he's not real staunchly conservative. He's just got some different ideas. Maybe I could get on board with that, or maybe that makes sense to me. But this race, nothing like we've ever seen, like you were trying to say earlier on this podcast.
Listen, if it was Biden versus Chris Christie or Nikki Haley, I would still vote for Biden, but I'd be like, you know what? If Christie wins or Haley wins, like, it's not the end of the world. Like, we'll be fine, but it's not how I feel about Trump winning.
Right. That's 100%, dude.
All right. Editor's note now. I don't know what to do. We would normally keep running late because there's a certain someone that babbles a lot that we condense, but I don't know that we're cutting much out of what we've been talking about. And I would normally cut all of his word salad from the beginning, but then we had to reference, like, he was going off the deep end. So we may need to keep this whole show mainly intact. And if that's the case, we should probably be done with this episode.
Let's just end
Thoughts
it here.
on Brewski at this moment? I mean, what the fuck? Are we just done? Has this just been too many times?
Let's get into
anyone out there want to be a producer? Go to thevocalminority.net.
Listen, dude, I've been getting texts throughout the program. Do you want to know what they say? I mean, I don't think it's a secret.
You're the good cop. Like I said, I'm pretty sure you're the only one with a real relationship with them.
He just says, I'm done, Nick. Sorry, but I'm really done. Don't want to come back ever. I love you, but I'm done. Done. Okay.
Wow. I love you. Let me fuck your show over.
Oh, I don't think that he... Brisky, if you see this podcast, which you should watch it, I don't think that you understand how much this takes away from somebody that you love. If you have no love lost for Steve and you still love me, I mean, you come on, dude. We don't have to love each other. We don't have to, adore each other. But we're putting on a show that's creating a good following and getting a lot of listeners on board. And you want to leave now? That sucks, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. You want to leave? I mean, it's free will. Go ahead. But
listen, it is shooting us in the foot to some extent, but it's nothing we can't recover from. We've had other producers leave before, but it's not ideal. I love Brewski for what it is, and I do consider him a friend, even though I keep repeatedly getting this animosity thrown at me. But I'm also not going to force somebody to be on the show because I'm so sick of tiptoeing around him, as you and I have been discussing, that we need to do, apparently, because he's become so sensitive.
Yeah, well, he's very reactive, and earlier in the show, I don't think he's just so on the defense, and I don't know why he feels he has to be on the defense. You could still have your opinion and say, "Oh, I don't agree with that," and move on, or I don't know why he's so defensive right now, but that's what he is, and maybe he just quit the show for good. It sounds like he did. So
yeah, that'll be the third time he did. I'm sort of at the point of like, all right, then just go. I mean, I don't want you to. I like that we can have these debates and arguments, but boy, he takes them way too fucking personally. So,
well, and you know what? If he was hoping to do good for the people that do think like he does politically and feel like he does politically, there was a portion of this audience that's listening to you as well and agreeing with you. So you're doing them a disservice, Brewski.
Well, there you go. The real life drama of the vocal minority continues on for better or for worse. So find us on the social medias and spread the word. And yes, if someone wants to audition to be a producer, then apparently we have an opening. So
I didn't tell you this. My brother said, I got the idea for your podcast to make it go next level. Yeah. I was like, oh, you do? He was like, put me on it. Put me on it with you guys. I was like, at the time, I was like, I don't know, but maybe it's a good opportunity.
I certainly wouldn't be opposed to trying it out for a show or two. I would,
yeah.
I mean, we do need a little balance on the show. It wouldn't hurt us to have a female or to have a conservative or something. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to trying that out.
Yeah, well, maybe we should have some open auditions. You want to audition for this podcast? Well, just let us know, dude. We have a comment line. You can call it 844-48-VOCAL. We'll do a whole American Idol thing.
There you go. Yes. And I'm definitely the Simon Cowell, so I apologize ahead of time for being an asshole, because that theme just keeps coming up in my life. So
enough said.
All right, enough said.
Thank you for social medias. Go to the vocalminority.net.
Say goodbye, Brewski.
Fuck off, Brewski.
And we say bye-bye.
This is the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.